Good morning, everyone. Today is March 23rd, and it is 9 a.m., and I am going to convene the Anchorage Advisory Committee. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call. Let's start at this end. Where Curtis doesn't have a mic.
Curtis Ludwig, Harbor Master.
Sam Lurie.
John Wesley Nash.
Chris Riedel King.
Ted Lawwill.
Tom Hedrick. John McLean.
Okay. Ed Schoonover, I believe, is going to try to join us virtually. I would like to take a vote and make sure that that's okay with the committee. Could I have,
So moved.
thank you.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
All in favor.
Aye, okay. So Ed, if you're able to join us, I know that you have the links. We would love to have you on the meeting. All right, public comment. I do not see any public, so we will move on. What I would like to do is just briefly do a little bit of introductions for our newest member, Tom. So perhaps we could start with Curtis and maybe just give a little background and talk about your superpower, Curtis.
Alrighty. Tom, thank you for joining this committee. We appreciate it, and we know that you're going to bring a lot of valuable information and expertise to this committee. We appreciate that. But a little bit about me. My life, I kind of evolves around the water. I grew up trotter fishing at a high school with my brother down in St. Augustine, and then after that, I went into the Coast Guard. I did the Coast Guard for 10 years. I did eight years active duty, 2 years reservist. In that time, I served at two small boat stations. I was on a patrol boat overseas in the Persian Gulf. I was stationed in Bahrain. We were under the 5th Fleet out there. And then from there, I went into the commercial maritime industry. I worked for a shipping agency company, so we worked in bringing in all your cargo ships into the port of Jacksonville, along with the port of Brunswick. I moved my way up in that company. I was the port manager for both the Jacksonville and the Brunswick office. From there, I kind of left. I went and I did a little bit of project managing for a small maritime engineering repair company. So we had Navy contracts, and we worked on the Navy's DDG vessels and the LCS vessels, and we repaired their AC units and their walk-in cost splitch freezers. And then from there, the sister company of the shipping agency reached out to me, and I ran a mooring and launch company for them out of Jacksonville. So we tied up tanker vessels. We were an asset to McAllister tugs. So we would pull the ship's lines through the water and tie them up for them and all that. And off of there, we started a transportation company within the port as well. And then from there, this opportunity presented itself. I was looking to kind of slow down a little bit. That industry has you going 24/7, 7 days a week. So it was a little rough on me. So, but God is good, and I'm happy to be here serving this community in town, and I couldn't be happier right now, honestly. So I appreciate it. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Sam. brief overview of your life, not every road trip that you've taken.
Sam Lurie, I've been on the committee about 10 years. I started in high school. I was running in Marina Del Rey a shuttle service. That's my boating. I ended up getting my captain's license. I'm a 100-ton master captain. Ran charters on Fort Myers Beach for about 20 years. I'm a retired IRS enrolled agent, and happy to be on the committee.
What's your superpower, Sam?
My superpower is Curtis.
John Wesley Nash. I come from Chesapeake Bay, resident of Annapolis for many, many years. Boated pretty much all my life. Been on this committee for about 3 years. I also had captain's license and very much welcome.
Your superpower?
My wife.
My superpower is I want to be Ed Schoonover right now.
I know. Ed's background is super gorgeous. Oh, my goodness. I'm Chris Riedel King, and my husband and I have lived on the island for about 5 years. I still work remotely for Principal Financial Group out of Des Moines, Iowa. I have managed sponsorships and all kinds of events over my career. I was in radio. That's where I met my husband, worked for the Des Moines Register. And I wrangle cats. That's really my superpower. I create order out of chaos.
He's in here.
Ted Lawwell. I arrived in Fort Myers Beach in 1997 by boat and have been here since that time. And I presently at Sookite Marina. I was a pediatric ophthalmologist and taught in universities through the years. I bareboated. I took my vessel from Louisville, Kentucky down here. That's the way I got to Fort Myers. And I worked in academics at 2 universities and did research. My boating has always been either leasing boats or my own, which I've owned boats for 30, 40 years. So, and my superpower is fading, but I'm going to try to hang in there anyhow.
Your superpower is not fading. Ted is our historian, and he is our facts and figures guy. So you give yourself more credit. Ed, can you hear us?
Hold on, can you hear me?
I can. Do you want to give your introduction and first of all tell us where you are, because it is gorgeous, much better than the last time you joined us remotely.
Last time it was pretty good too, but anyway, I am in Tortola right now. We haven't left the dock yet. We're just getting a orientation from the yacht company.
So you want to introduce yourself, just say a little bit about yourself and what your superpower is?
Sure, I'm Ed Schoonover. Don't know what to tell you about myself. I just turned 60. That's interesting. I didn't think I'd make it this long. My wife and I own real estate basically in Minnesota, which includes some laundromats. That is kind of our favorite. Three Dogs Wash, if you're ever going to be in the Brainerd area in Minnesota this summer, it's a good place to get cleaned up. I've been on this committee. I think it's one of the first committees I was on. Hold on, I got to mute every once in a while because there's a lot of traffic here. For I think 3 years, and currently also on board cab and also the charter commission. And I like trying to help the town out much as I can where I can. As far as superpowers go, not really sure about that one, Chris. You always come up with the greatest questions. I'm glad this isn't a job interview. I would say I can multitask, and I'll leave it at that.
And I would say that you're also our finance guy. You make sure that we are doing the best with the money that we have for the town. So I appreciate your fiduciary responsibility, Ed.
Yes, and I'm very proud. Anytime I see a council member or anything, I always remind them that we've got about $6,000 in the bank for our appreciation day coming up, and that's That's really impressive.
It's very impressive. Thank you. John, do you want to introduce yourself quickly, and then we'll let Tom tell about
Sure.
him?
Hi, John McLean. I'm the most recent member, newest member on town council, and very happy to be the liaison for the Anchorage Committee as well as CELCAP. I actually have my boat being serviced today so that I can get back on the water. I hate to say this, but we recently got back into our house, and my lift doesn't even have power. And I have a registration sticker for my boat from a year ago that didn't even get on the boat, and that kills me. So we're so looking forward to getting wet again.
Thanks, John. Okay, Tom, the floor is yours.
It's all mine.
Anyone, you know.
Tom Hedrick. I grew up in Massachusetts on the South Shore by the water for the most part. Been around boats since I was a little kid. Been in law enforcement for over 30 years. Retired 2 years ago when I moved down here to our boat, my wife and I. We live full-time on the boat at Snook Marina. I've been in the auxiliary, Coast Guard auxiliary, for approximately 12 years up in the Boston area, pretty much Cape Cod and the islands. Did a lot of boating up there. Was unpleasantly surprised of how shallow everything is down here. Considering this was a last-minute decision that we would sell everything up there, retire, move down here, and move to a boat. So buying a boat in St. Pete and moving it down here was quite the experience on the Intercoastal Waterway for some of that trip, and realizing that 6 feet of water is deep. So that's pretty much it. I've done a lot of things, a lot of side jobs, I held a hydraulic license for 20 years. I have a Class A truck driving license, did all that. Done a lot of things, just extra money to subsidize the income as I was coming along. That's it.
Well, thank you very much. We're very excited to have you as part of the committee.
Thank you.
And you might notice that I'm the only person who didn't talk about my life with boats.
Yes.
I don't
have a boat.
I don't own a boat. I like boats. I like to be on boats.
Yes,
But,
you have plenty of friends with
I have
boats.
friends, yes, and I'd love to have more friends with boats, so thank
There
you.
you go.
All right, let's move on to approval of the minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from February 23rd and March 9th?
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions? I just see one thing on the 23rd. On the first page, it says there will be communication through Dockwood, and I think that should be Docwa,
Docwa, yeah.
you know, or could change its name, one of those two things. So, go ahead.
Sam, I move to approve the minutes with Chris's change.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Approved as amended. What about the March 9th meeting minutes? That was really our planning meeting. Anything there?
Sam, I move that we accept those minutes, approve them.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, second from Ted, got in by just a nose. Yeah. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, okay.
Aye.
All right, minutes are approved. Okay, let's move on to staff reports.
Madam Chair, can I jump in real quick?
What, Ed?
Can I jump in?
You
real
sure
quick?
can, go ahead.
It's just that I'm just working off a cell signal right now, so I'm not quite sure how long this is gonna last for me, so I just wanna report that, and I believe, John, you may have taken care of it with your wife for the community foundation for their basket. I got a bag with some goodies in it from Mound House, and the Women's Club has promised us a package. I think I'll be back in town soon enough to receive that from them, but if not, Megan or Mary are both aware of that. And the Island Pancake House, I did drop off some information, but I haven't heard back from them. And I wanted to fill you in case I zone out here.
Thank you, Ed. I did get the items from the Community Foundation from Kathy, who happens to live in my house. So On the other items, if you're having trouble getting to them in time, just let me know. I'll pick them up for you. And if you could, and you get a second, can you just go over the spreadsheet we sent to you, and anything has your name next to it, just shoot me an email and let me know what the current status is, if you would, please, so we can keep this document up to state.
I'll actually reply to Curtis, and then he can let you know.
Oh, absolutely. That's proper protocol. Thank you.
Anything else, Ed?
Sorry, I keep muting because there's so much traffic. People
And
coming in
we
off.
we can't hear them at all, so that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's all. I just wanted to update you in case I lose my signal and I disappear.
Okay, thanks, Ed. All right, go ahead, Curtis.
Alrighty, staff updates. At this time, we have roughly 18 boats in the back Anchorage right now, so it's getting pretty full back there. We have three sunken / abandoned vessels that are tagged and going through the LCSO FWC process, and we have roughly about 9 vessels in the front Anchorage right now. Right now, this morning, I think we have about 45 boats on the mooring ball. Over the weekend, we were in the upper 50s number. So, and we're seeing that increase more so in the later end of the week, into the weekend. Our numbers shoot up. So, but everything is going good for the season. So, and I think our profit numbers for this month were very good as well, or we are pleased with them, I should say. Alrighty, moving on. We are still in the process of trying to look for grants to help us repair the Miramar and the Coconut boat ramps. So we're still working on that. So the big update I have for y'all. So town council approved our contract with Matanzas Inn for our upland facilities, our dockage space, and with the addition of an office space now. So we will be, in the next month or so, we will be moving into a new office. It's going to take some work to get it up and running first, but we're willing to tackle that, and we are excited to have a new home here coming up soon.
And that's the Harbor House?
Yes, sir. Yes, Sam. Correct. So where the office was before Ian and everything, it is directly behind that on the side of Harbor House. Yes. Alrighty. The Tropical Shores Dinghy Dock, it's still tied up with FEMA, with Brian, with Tidal Basin, so that's still in progress. I have not received any further updates on that right now. So next is we had all 89 mooring systems cleaned and maintained, and that happened, I believe, right after our last meeting. So we were pleased to that. The engineers stated that our mooring systems were solid. They had to replace minimal parts, and they cleaned all the systems and everything. So we are in good shape. We will be moving forward on another round of maintenance in the next 6 months. We're going to be conducting that semi-annually going forward.
Curtis, just for my education and the committee's education, you did all that maintenance on the mooring balls, which is wonderful. How long do you think that will last? When would we need to get back in and do that maintenance again?
That's what, so every 6 months,
Every 6 months.
semi-annual is what we're going to be doing.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So, the enforcement boat is obviously, like I stated in our last meeting, is up and running. We are looking to find a way to house that on down south at Fishtail Marina, but we are trying to figure out a way that we can pay for that yearly slip. Right now, we don't have the money for it in our budget.
Is that in the water slip or dry storage?
We have our option of either or. I think the only thing that's available down the road, we will have an option of a wet and a dry slip. But right now, the only thing that's available is a dry slip. They're still working on their wet slips and everything. They're in.
How much would that be for the slip rental?
So just for
Approximately.
one slip, it's roughly going to be around $1,600
A year?
a year. Yes, ma'am.
Curtis, that's partially gonna be paid by, or maybe fully paid by, code enforcement, is that correct?
So no, that's not. They cannot. They don't have the money either right now in the budget. So we're kind of strapped.
I mean, if it was budgeted for next year, that part of those funds would, because you would share that vessel with code enforcement, wouldn't you?
Correct. Yes, we do. And we hope that this is taken care of and added into the budget this coming budget season is the plan.
On that topic, maybe you could go to council and explain the difference between all the extra hours and time spent getting down there, and maybe they would, somehow accommodate.
Where is the boat now?
The boat now is on the trailer in the PW yard,
Okay.
where we store all our other trailers. Alrighty, I think the next big topic I have is the water taxi ferry discussions, but I think we're going to be getting into that later. And I believe that concludes all my updates. If you have any questions.
Any questions for Curtis on things that he covered and maybe things that he didn't, that you're interested in?
I don't necessarily have a question, but I'd like to thank Curtis and congratulate him for the little water quality issue we had on the south end. And Curtis and his crew were very quick to address the fish kill that happened there. And I think pretty much all of my neighbors were very impressed with that, Curtis. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Ed. And you reminded me, I was meaning to give y'all an update on the fish kill. So this happened about not this past Friday, but the weekend before last. So down on the south end of the island, back in Buccaneer Lagoon, there we had a fish kill, a concentrated fish kill down that canal. We took various water samples and everything. So right now, what was reported that the O2, the oxygen levels were 0 in there. So we know that it was some type of discharge that happened. We're still gathering data, but it wasn't low. It was a low O2 is what we got. So everything in that area died. You can when we went back there, you could just feel the oxygen depletion back in that canal, and it's from all this the bad smell from the fish and everything like that. You started to kind of feel it in your throat and all that. But we got it cleaned up the best we could. We went back there last Friday, checked it out. It looks like things are starting to get better. There is a milkiness still still in the water, but if you go down halfway down Buccaneer Lagoon, the water changes. So we know that it's a concentrated area within that canal and lagoon system. So we're still conducting research and trying to pinpoint exactly what caused this problem. So, any questions?
Do they have any idea what actually did that?
No, we do not. We do
Okay.
not.
And who all investigates it with you? Who are the partners in this?
So the partners we had, FWC Fishkill is mainly who I was working with during that event, and some other outside entities, Lee County Environmental, Sanibel, and Florida Gulf Coast.
I'm halfway down the lagoon, and since last Thursday, everything is cleared up. We only got a couple dead fish. There's no smell anymore, so it appears to be cleared.
But I will say this: I will ask, anybody down a canal or that lives down a canal, anything. If you see multiple fish start to float up, and it's not your normal one or two fish, and you see it start to, be more and more of a problem, please give the town a call right away. We need to know as soon as this starts happening, so we can kind of prevent it from getting worse if we can. So I just wanted to, state that. I appreciate it.
Anything else for Curtis? Curtis, I don't know if you're the right person for this, but do you know
Okay.
anything more about Civic Plus? Is that moving forward? Do we need to get ready for phase 2 yet, or?
I do not have an update on that
Okay.
yet. As soon as I do, I will. I'll let Joan know.
Okay. Go ahead, Sam.
One more thing, it looks like they're almost finished with the fire station, and it appears they have 70 feet of canal front there, and are there any plans to seawall that, or like incorporate that into our kayak on tropical shores?
I'm not sure, Sam. I do not know. That's something that I can ask and find out.
Maybe we could bring that up to council if they are doing something, if there's any way we could help Curtis and his crew by either using it or having it available.
So are you looking for dockage there, Sam, or what is it that you're requesting?
Well, the fire station at the end of the canal, behind the new fire station on Tropical Shores, they have 70 feet of canal there. It looks like it's still mangroves. However, in the original plans, I thought they were going to have rescue boats back there, a dock for some of their marine, anything they were going to put back there. So I just wondered if you could just follow up on it as they're building that to see if anything's going on and if we could be involved anyway.
Happy to do so. Thank you.
And FYI, the fire station is having their grand opening on April 2nd. So I think that's from 9 until noon, with ribbon cutting about 9:30 or so. So, if everybody wants to show up and just take a tour of the fire station, it will be open. And it's pretty magnificent, at least from the outside.
Ed, you going to be there?
Did you ask me if I was gonna be there?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
All right, I guess we can move on to member items. Sam, do you have some member items?
No, I think just the Cruisers Appreciation Day when it comes up.
Okay. John?
Same thing, just cruisers appreciation items when we get to that point.
Okay. Ted?
I just handed out the occupancy figures. We're a little down from last year per month, but it's gradually coming back up to previous occupancy.
Any questions for Ted about what he provided? Go ahead, John.
So even though we're down, Ted, it appears our revenue is up.
That, I don't keep the revenue portion, so I don't know.
Correct. That is correct. Our numbers are down, but our revenue's up because of the increase that we did at the beginning of the budget year.
So that, the revenue is up, does that mean that the total revenue for the month is greater than the previous year's month?
Correct.
Super.
Right, Patty?
Curtis, do you have any concerns about, the Anchorage numbers versus the mooring numbers?
I do.
Okay.
But I don't. But with our increase financially, we are okay. But I think I think that we are going to experience more of that hit when the summer comes, in the summer months, in the off season, which I think where we're going to see that affect us the most. So like I stated, we have about 18 vessels, if not maybe pushing 20, in the back Anchorage. Several of those vessels left due to the increase. Just with that Anchorage alone, say we had those 18 vessels on our mooring field, we would be, that's kind of where our number drop off is, from where we were number wise. Because this time last year we were kind of in the 60 range of boats on the mooring balls. So that's kind of where those boats now are back in the Anchorage now. So if we had those, especially this year, if we had those boats on the balls right now, we'd be very close to full. So that's just something to think about, and keep in the back of our minds. And I would like to get through Cruisers Appreciation Day, and then the meeting after that, I kind of want to get into a game plan, and talk about some things that I have been thinking to help us out, and see if we can get council approval for it to help us in the off season. But we will get into that later on the road, like I stated.
Yeah, go ahead, Ted.
I don't know what you're thinking, but is there any possibility of having seasonal rates?
That's kind of what I'm
Okay.
thinking. Exactly, Ted.
So are you keeping track of the number of boats in the Anchorage as well, so that we can compare Anchorage versus mooring? Is that part of what you provide to us?
Correct. That's in the updates, the number of vessels in the Anchorage is.
Okay.
Now, listen, you got to think, these numbers fluctuate a little bit. So I get this report out to you 10 days before the meeting.
Sure.
So some of the updates and stuff that I have that I've made this out to get to y'all, I have more stuff to come up.
Sure.
And these numbers will fluctuate as well, so just keep that in mind.
Are we inviting the anchored vessels as well as the moored vessels for cruiser?
So yes, it's more than welcome. I don't really have we don't have their, some of them we have their information because they stayed in the mooring field and they have an Adaqua account and everything like that. But we have the flyers and everything posted all over down there. So it's open to,
Yeah.
so the Anchorage vessels, the people that visit the dinghy dock will be able to see those flyers and everything like that.
But
yeah.
we would probably only want to provide the free meals to the people who are actually
Correct.
paying the fee.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would keep it that way.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else, Ted? Tom?
I have nothing at this point.
Okay. Ed?
Yeah, I think I know the answer to this, Curtis, but we still pump out those boats that are in the Anchorage, right?
Yes, we do. That's part of our grant. We have that's our responsibility. We make sure that there's no overboard discharge or anything like that. Most of those boats in the Anchorage, we have we have on a schedule that we hold them to. You know, and they know that we have to charge them $5 for the pump out. So they all know that. They all of them do not have any problems paying or anything like that. So it goes well. A lot of people want it, like they request it and call us for it. So
Curtis, any update on the 6 empty balls in the west field and the 3 yellow warning buoys surrounding the Anchorage?
you mean the 3 buoys surrounding the mooring
The
field?
yellow ones that start at Torgenson's.
Some.
Yeah.
Correct, yes. So, so the yellow special purpose buoys we lost in the wind events during this year. We're working with coastal engineering. They're going to come back and reinstall them. I do not have a date for you at this time, and along with replacing some of the seagrass buoys and Buccaneer Lagoon. So I hope that both of those get done at the same time is what we're hoping for. But I do not have a date on that. As soon as I do,
And the 6 mooring balls that
Yep.
the Coast Guard.
yep, absolutely. So about 2 weeks ago, Coast Guard cutter Vice was here at the station, but unfortunately they pulled in late that evening. They lost an engine, and they are about to go into dry dock anyways. So their whole entire mission got canceled. And so they were just trying to limp back on one engine to St. Pete so they can make it to dry dock. So that is where we're at with that. I do not have an update specifically from the Coast Guard of Waterways Management. We are working on trying to get an update, but I think it's going to be a little bit more time. Unfortunately, I hated to hear that. I was hoping to have those already back in service, so.
Have we had to turn anybody away because they were too large and couldn't get under the bridge?
No, unfortunately, we have been making it work with that. We've been pretty good about it. We kind of have to jockey some boats around sometimes, but all in all, this season it's we've been fortunate that everything's worked out well. So.
Anything else, Ed?
No, that's all. Well, I guess I will ask this. I think I know the answer already, but the Coast Guard is affected by the government shutdown, are they not, Curtis?
Yes, I believe they are. I don't have specifics on that. I really need to ask my my sister and my brother-in-law. He would be the one to know. He's still in. So, no, I do not have an update. I know that they are affected. I don't know what degree they are. Affected. How bad it is or what it is. I know that they were getting paychecks for a little while. So I don't know where it's at now. So I can't answer that confirmly. So.
You good, Ed?
I am good, thank you.
Okay. I have a few things. Just wanted to let you know that I did give a report to council on the 2nd. The items that I covered were welcoming our newest committee member, Tom, giving kudos to Curtis for your complete and detailed monthly reports, talking about Civic Plus and that we're looking forward to learning more of that, talking about the town attorney reviewing our roles and responsibilities, talked about Cruiser Appreciation Day, talked about AAC partnering with MRF on the water ferry document, and then I also gave kudos to John for putting together the wonderful document about the shoaling in Buccaneer Lagoon. And also, as we had discussed previously, talked about how we really urged the council to move forward with looking for any sorts of grants that could be used to help us level set on what was going on in our canals and channels so that moving forward we can find money to get them up to snuff and know where we are in case we have any other sort of a weather incident. So that's what I talked about. Also, I've had a couple of conversations with the town attorney about roles and responsibilities. She helped me with some language to make it more of an advisory committee purview rather than, coming with hard must-haves. It's more of recommendations, so that's good. I will be working on that. In conjunction with that, I'm working with John McLean to come up with a committee handbook that will help all of the committees operate in a more effective, efficient, consistent process. So thanks to the town staff for providing me with some background documentation, and thanks in advance to John as we work through that. My thought is that that will be circulated with all of the committee chairs and the committees ultimately to make sure that it's what we think, how we operate, that's in line with how all of the other committees are operating. I think we're using the LPA's handbook as a basis, but Lizette put some other information together to give it a little bit more of a generic spin. But I think we've all struggled for a while with how the committees operate, what our purviews are, that sort of thing. So I would think that, our roles and responsibilities could be attached to that, and then each of the other committees could put their roles and responsibilities there too, so that there would be everything in one place. Make it much easier to onboard people than, hey, here's a piece of paper, go figure it out. So there's that, and then I will bring up the water taxi, water ferry document that I sent out to all of you. I don't really want to go into deep detail in that until we get through Cruiser Appreciation Day, but just know that the MRF committee did have a conversation just to get themselves started with thinking about the type of guidelines they would like to see for those type of endeavors from an environmental perspective. And I think when we start talking about it, our purview will be, okay, navigationally, what must be in place to make sure that these operations can run smoothly and the way that we would want them to as a town, and not create any sort of havoc, but be a true asset. So that's to come. We have a joint meeting set up with MRF for May 15th, I believe it is, from 1 to 3, and that would replace our regular May meeting, which was going to be the day after Memorial Day, which I have a feeling might be troublesome for some people. So we'll talk about that as we get close. Questions about any of that? That was a lot.
Yes.
Go, Sam.
So, Chris, the next council meeting is April 6th. Are you able to attend and give a committee report about Cruisers Appreciation Day, or maybe give a script to husband John or John McLean to read at that meeting, since it's only a week away from the event?
Yep, I can do that.
Thanks.
One of those options. I have to look at my calendar, but. All right, anything else before we jump into the wonderful wide world of Cruiser Appreciation Day? All righty. Well, let's take a look at the draft document, and we'll just run through it. Hopefully everybody has that in front of them. And then we'll get into Mr. Spreadsheet. Mr. John Wesley Nash will run us through all of his lovely color-coded spreadsheets. But on the first page, the complimentary meal, that's all squared away. Do we have that contract signed? Are we done?
They did not require a contract and do not require payment until I reconcile with them the Tuesday or Wednesday after the event.
Okay. And is that amenable to the town, Curtis? Any issues with that? I mean, it's what we did last year, so. Okay.
Right, yeah. I will double check, but I don't think we will have any problems with that.
Okay. Let's not talk about the nonprofits yet. We'll get to that. VIPs, I have invited all of the town council members plus a guest. I have heard from all of them so far. The only ones who will not be able to attend are Scott and Jackie. They will be out of town. And then I've got Tracy Kohler and her husband attending. I have not heard from Will yet, but I will send a reminder. So we're doing good there. How about for the mooring field boaters and your marine ops staff, Curtis?
So we have put out an email to them with our flyer and everything like that. We started that the beginning of last week, I believe. And we're going to be doing that every week. We have flyers down and around our locations at the mooring field. I also brought a stack of flyers as well with us. I encourage y'all to take them and take some and put them up wherever y'all think is necessary. And we will continue to reach out and do our part. I also reached out to cruisers.net. It's the subscription that we subscribe to. They help us promote and give updates about the mooring field to the great loopers and transient vessels. So I sent him the flyer as well, and he's going to promote it on the website. So, for us, hopefully we'll get some more cruisers just to come in for the event and stuff like that. So
I know that we weren't going to ask for RSVPs or anything, but have you had any comments from any of the boaters? No? No. And as you do like your pump outs the week before, that'll be something that you can talk about in person?
No, I do have boaters that were in this time last year, and they did ask about the event this year. So I do have people in the mooring field that are aware of it and know, and especially some of the ones that were there last year.
Okay. All right, funding, I think we're at the same as we were last time. So we have 2,077.36 less from last year, and then 4,550 from this year for a total of 6627.36. So thanks to everybody who contributed. John, you have a question?
Yes, I
Comment?
just wanted to make clear, is all these funds in hand, or is there some still pending pledge? Do we physically have this money?
We have it all, don't we, Curtis? Do you have the checks from our two
Yes.
sponsors this year?
Yes, we have it all. All the money that she just stated is everything, all the checks that I had turned in.
Excellent.
All right. John, why don't you take us through your spreadsheet of nonprofits and in-kind contributions and let people know what you need to know?
Okay, I've created a spreadsheet. It has two real purposes. The first is to help us have a glance and know exactly where we are for this year, and for it to become a historic document to help us in the future without having to recreate contacts or know what we did the previous year. And I think that'll be a lot of help. I know Chris and I, when we invited or tried to contact several nonprofits, we had to recreate the contact and the contact information. The sheet that you find in front of you, it looks very complex, but hopefully it'll make sense if you look through it. Everything that has a yellow question mark is information that we do not have and we probably should have as quickly as possible from all the members. If you see your name under a member contact, any information that is missing, any information that is basically yellow on that line, please forward that to Curtis as quickly as possible so we can keep this up to date. You can forward it two ways. You can send it as an email that I can go back and put in here, which was absolutely fine and may be easiest. But you can also take this document and you can edit it and send the edited document to Curtis to come to me. All I ask is that if you make any entry, you do it in red, so I don't have to go cell by cell to try to figure out what's changed. Currently, we have 12 participants that have confirmed, which last year we had 19. I think looking at what we can do, I think 20 is accommodable. So we're still pursuing additional attendees. As you look at this document, you'll see an organizational name, you'll see a classification. Classifications is event participant, which are people that we're looking for to actually attend and display. And then we have in-kind sponsors, which is another category. And then we have monetary sponsors, which is the last category. I think most of it is self-explanatory if you look at the headings and go through it. One thing that we may want to try to, I deleted the notes column from this document, but we are maintaining a master that does have a notes section. So any additional information, particular information associated with a particular entity, that should be forwarded, so we can also keep that in the notes column. There are a few things that that I want to talk about. Well, you can see that there are some organizations we have marked as on hold. We are going to hold these back until we're sure that we're going to have space for them, and then we'll invite them. Some of the stuff that we've added that I think is important to get help on, I don't understand or know, Curtis, if the fly healer tours, it's up in the event participant section. It is a commercial operation, so I'm not sure that's where it belongs. I don't think they should be displaying. If they are set up to display, I think we should talk about that. I also feel that we haven't invited as many boating-centric organizations as what we should have. I know we've invited the Coast Guard Auxiliary, and I'm waiting for status about that from Ted. But I've also come up with a few other ones that I think, Curtis, we need your help with. Well, if you look at line 21, which is FWC Boating Safety Education, and line 24, which is Lee County Sheriff's Marine Safety Operations. I don't have any contacts for those, but I'm hoping you did, Curtis, and you can either chase those down or at least give us the contacts to approach them. I think those would be excellent attendees to help educate boaters. And then there was, I've personally taken on inviting the San Carlos Bay Sail and Paddle Squadron. I expect to have an answer from them in the next 2-3 days. And at that point, I think we're pretty close to having all the things I want to say about this. We do have, right now, we have some in-kind gifts that are being held outside my possession. I think most people are in the process of moving those to me. I would like to have all those together so I can organize them and package them for the event. So if you have some that haven't made it to me, please forward them to me. If you have any issues getting them to me, let me know. I'll come to you. If any are being held at individual organizations and you have trouble getting to them, let me know, and I'll take care of that as well. I think that's as much as I can say, unless you have questions.
Let's talk about fly heli tours. My understanding, Curtis, is that Stephen wanted a few minutes to say something and also perhaps to have a place to be able to talk to folks who are attending the event. Is that still true?
I'll have to follow up and double check about the words. I don't know if things have changed there or not. And I will, yes, I believe he does want a spot to be able to have his logo, or for him to promote fly.
So
fly
maybe
heli.
you move him from event participant and just have a special notation under his sponsorship. But I do think that is a conversation that we can have for next year, is maybe we set sort of packages around what the event monetary sponsors receive so that there's no, question when we come down to it.
Okay.
John?
I certainly feel that anyone that has been a sponsor or anyone that's attending, we intend to give them a couple minutes to be on stage and to talk about what their purpose is. And certainly Fly Hero comes under that. I would and anybody that makes a monetary commitment or provides a in-kind product gift or basically gifts. We certainly are going to have their logos and have them promoted on a poster that allows everyone that's attending to know that they have contributed. We're also going to have a poster that says what they've contributed, so that when people look about the purchasing, what they need to purchase to be in the drawing for those items, they know what they potentially can win. I would like to oppose having them have a table unless we've already passed that point. Because I don't really want this to come to a situation where people are trying to promote commercial entities. If we've already promised that, there's nothing we can do about that, but like Chris said, next year we gotta make those parameters. I do need to know as quickly as possible, Curtis, what are we actually gonna do with them? But they should feel like they're gonna be properly thanked, and their participation as a sponsor is gonna be well publicized. They certainly should understand that they can come and make statements, but I also need to understand if they're gonna take up a slot or not.
Okay, understood. I can get you that answer fairly quickly.
On that note, do we allow merchandise?
Well, I would say that the nonprofits, some of them were selling merchandise last year. I don't know that we made that distinction that they couldn't. I believe, Captains for Clean Water had some merchandise. Some other organizations were giving away some trinkets.
I certainly nonprofits, I feel that anything that they want to give away or anything they want to sell is in my opinion, okay, because they're promoting their entity. I know a lot of them had the ability to take on memberships right there. A lot of them had, so they're creating fundraising for their organization, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think that's incentive for them to be there, unless anyone else feels differently.
I mean, I feel like with Fly Heli, the opportunity for him is education, to be able to, I don't want him to sign people up and sell his tours, but I think there's the opportunity for him to provide more education about what he's doing, and perhaps, the environmental purview that he has by doing the type of business that he has. I mean, I just feel like there's a dearth of education, but I also don't want to create something that's controversial.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know, John, or if anybody, Ed, has a thought about that?
I just think, and again, I'm repeating myself, there's many entities that can come and give education about what they sell and how it impacts the community. I'm thinking that as a theme of this event, we're more into the education of what the community offers and how boaters can take advantages of those. So I would really not like to see any commercial entity in there taking up a spot, because we have plenty of other people that want those spots, and certainly not selling anything for profit.
Ed, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, well, boats are starting and stuff here, but I'll try to spread it out quick. I think it's great when we have corporate sponsors, and I think that we should encourage their participation in certain manners. I feel that the corporate sponsor that gives us that much money should have a booth right up by the stage, to be honest with you. And I think we should encourage economic activity at that event. And we had the town manager with us recently, and he was asked directly if the town was okay with this company participating, and he said the town is just fine with it. So I think that we should encourage corporate sponsorships. There's a reason we got 6,500 in the bank, and we should keep up with that.
So Curtis, can you investigate what Stephen would like to do and advise us?
Absolutely, I will.
Okay, all right. Tom, did you have a question? Okay. Okay, so everybody needs to look at your spreadsheet and update your information in red and send it back to Curtis, or by email, send your information to Curtis so that he can get it to John to update the spreadsheet. John, do you want to talk about the in-kind as well, and what you're still missing, what you don't know about?
Well, I think it's pretty clear what I have here as far as what we're missing and what we don't know about. I don't really have anything particular to add there. I think it clearly identifies the information that we're seeking.
Go ahead, Ted.
I noticed on the list, the Coast Guard Auxiliary has the wrong contact, and I sent in a correction, but it hadn't gotten to here yet. But they have been invited, and they are coming with up to 2 people.
Well, that's excellent. Again, please confirm that in a communication through Curtis, so we do have the right contact name for next year, and a statement that says that they are coming, and so that will make number 13 that we're confirmed, and again, anything you know about. One of the categories that we didn't talk about, I think we did talk about, is any event requirements for any individual if they need something other than the normal table and signage that we provide. Let's enter that too in that field.
So Ted, can you send the updated contact information to
I have
Curtis?
done so, I will do it
Okay,
again.
thank you, dear.
I'm sorry if I missed that, Ted. I don't.
It has to go around the, it
Around the
has to
horn.
go around the corner. I cannot send it directly to you.
Yeah, correct.
And can okay, all right, I'll do it again.
Yeah, that probably, I may have missed it if Curtis forwarded it, but,
Is this what you sent this morning, Ted? So,
No, it was several days ago.
okay.
I'll send it again.
I believe I forwarded everything that you sent, so
Okay.
yeah, then that
I'll
would,
have to double check. That
that
might
problem.
be on,
I'll
that
do
might
it
be
again.
on me, so,
No.
so don't
Yeah.
be,
I-
I don't want to tell fighting, that
It
might be
could
my
as
fault.
equally be me, so don't worry about it.
and there's been a lot of information I've been sorting through, so if it came to me and I missed it, I apologize for that.
But the good news is we will have all of this information for next year. Everybody will have a copy, and so we won't have to recreate the wheel. Sam?
Chris, has the permit been issued?
No, we are still waiting for the site map, so we need the site map, but I have done the insurance certificate, which has been emailed to both Curtis and Nora. Am I
Correct.
good with the insurance?
So I have them printed out right here for the town of Fort Myers Beach and for Bayside Park.
Okay, so hopefully that is good. I worked with Nora and made sure that I had the right information there, but that has been done.
I'll get with Nora after this meeting and make sure that she receives this and make sure everything is moving forward as it needs to.
Okay,
And Chris, will you print out a copy so you'll have it on hand for the event?
absolutely, yep. I will make sure that I bring the insurance certificates, just so that we have those, and the permits.
I would also like to say, if you see any contact information on here for entities that haven't responded or you don't think is correct, please send us information on that too, because part of the challenge here for Chris and I is finding the right person to talk to. So,
Okay, questions on our nonprofits or our in-kind contributions? We all good? Yes, Sam?
Question for the guest. I see that Curtis and Bobby and Patty are on there, but should we have included Rich?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss one? No?
So,
Okay.
no,
I wasn't
no, we
sure.
are not going to include Rich. And I'm so sorry. I just realized I did have it on my updates, and I looked right past it. But I do have a staff update real fast. I'll just tell you all real fast. So yes, Rich left. He moved on. He wanted to start his own business and that kind of thing. So more, happy for him for doing that. And we are in the middle of a hiring process right now. We are going through bringing somebody on board right now. So I don't have an official start date. He's doing his background check and everything right now. So once we get the okay on him, we will set a start date. So we are still, like I said, going through that process. Now we are also hiring a part-time position right now. So we are in the middle of doing interviews for that position now. So sorry about that. Sorry I missed that for y'all.
Okay, let's go to page 2 and talk about run of show. I have some questions for you, and Tom, I'm sorry that I missed it last time when you said you would not be in town for the event, so I will take all of the Toms off of my, list here. That's okay. We will all work really, really hard. So 9 o'clock, our committee arrives for setup. At 10 o'clock, the nonprofits start to arrive for setup, so basically all hands on deck, trying to get them organized. And we'll talk a little bit more about what the details are there. From 11 to 2:30, the meal will be available, and we should probably eat early before things start at noon. At 12, registration opens with Sam and Ted registering our boaters. And Tina, okay. At 1, I put in sort of a boater panel. Ryan is happy to do any sort of interviews, so I'm thinking if we could come up with like 3 or 4 boaters and he could just do a little round table, ask them questions, find out how they found out about the mooring field, their impressions of Fort Myers Beach, that sort of thing. And then I'm also wondering, maybe even before we do that, should we have, Curtis, when you talk to Stephen at Fly Heli, see if he would like to say a few words about 1 o'clock?
Okay, we'll do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because I think Ed could interview him as well and just, ask why he sponsored the event and tell a little bit about his organization and, okay.
Yeah, not a problem.
So I'm going to throw this out, and you guys shoot it down if you want, but, we have a lot of prizes, and, last year, a lot of the people who won the prizes were the people who were from the nonprofits because, a lot of people didn't stick around for prize drawings, so I'm wondering if maybe we should do 2 prize drawings, do one at 1:30 and one at 2:30 to try and catch early people and catch late people. I don't know if you think that's a good idea or not. Go ahead, John.
I encourage that. I think it's going to take a little more organization, but it shouldn't take that much more effort. And I agree with you. A lot of people just can't wait that long, or they're coming in and going away. So that's a good incentive, I think, to bring people in stages or one time. I agree with that. If everybody else agrees with it.
Sam, I know you had some concerns. What do you think?
That's how we used to do it. The only thing about that is you have to be present to win.
Right,
You have to be
exactly.
present to win. And if we do it that way, I guess we'll save Key West Express and our larger ones for the second drawing and just kind of whet their appetite with the first one.
Yeah. And I think, when we do the signage, John, maybe we can split it into drawing 1, 1:30, drawing 2 at 2:30, and then people will know what they could win if they are there at that time. Sound good? Okay,
Just let me know so I can change the laminates.
absolutely. And then at 2, we'll do the nonprofit intros like we did last year. And so, we'll wrangle the people who are attending and have them all come up and say a few words about their organization. And we have the 2:30 prize drawing, 3 o'clock we tear down, 4 o'clock concert. Yes, Sam?
So we agree on the 1:30 and 2:30 drawing?
I think we did. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, on page 6, let's take a look at supplies and see if we're missing anything. Curtis, you're good on everything that's listed under you? Got chairs? Have you talked to the church about chairs yet?
Yes, we will be getting on that this week.
Okay. What about name tags? How are we doing?
So I'm still working on the name tags, and along with, I do have an update to share with y'all about the name tags, shirts, everything that we talked about last. So the town is not going to pay for those items, and if we want them, that it would be something that we can do, but it would be out of our funds, the AAC funds. So just something to think about. Now, if y'all do want name tags and stuff like that, I can just get me exactly what you want, and we can put it in an order, and we'll just have it pulled out of the account.
Can we make name tags that are somewhat similar to, the council members or any, other entity at town that has a name tag? I mean, I don't want you to have to create a whole new model. Is there something that, is sort of a standard that you guys use? I mean, and when I'm talking name tags, I'm talking about the nice,
That's what you're-
magnetized guys.
That's what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's-
We have, the town has those type of name tags. That's what they use. I will have to, yes, I believe you can order those.
Okay.
But I'll have to ask about the town's logo, what they want to
Yeah,
state
absolutely.
on it and stuff like that. Because I think it probably needs to state your name and Anchorage Advisory Committee.
Exactly.
But I know if that's something that y'all want to do and pay for the committee money, that is not a problem.
Does anybody have any concerns if we pay for name tags out of our committee funds or shirts? Do you have any issues with that? I would like to know what the cost is before we make that determination. Is that something that you could share with us pretty quickly about an estimated cost per item?
Per how much they cost?
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have to look up that information. I would have to ask the clerk's office and see what they say
Okay.
and what we can use.
All right. Well, if we can get that information.
ASAP.
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, so I'm working on the VIP list. I will work probably in conjunction with John the long way around on the special event permit, because I think what we're gonna need is that site map, the updated site map. I'm not sure that Nora needs anything else from us on that, but that would be something for you to find out if you could, Curtis. The insurance certificate is done. I've got a request into the library to get the tables. One thing may be when we should pick up the tables, because this upcoming weekend is the last library sale.
Okay.
So rather than them taking all the tables back upstairs to storage, we might want to pick them up on Sunday afternoon if that's possible, but I will let people know if we need to do that. Otherwise, they might be able to store them in their garage until we're able to pick them up.
Okay.
But I'm working on that.
Can we go back to the site map?
We sure can.
All I have to, and of course I intend to put that together. I didn't realize we had to do one for the permit, but that's fine. All I have is a hand-drawn drawing from last year to work from, which is really not really.
It's what we did last year.
It's what we did
handed in,
yesterday.
yep.
Any possibility, Curtis, can you find out if the town can provide something that allow me to have accurate dimensions off of from that Bayside Park, so I can work from that and do a true layout in CAD, so it's more professional looking and again, something that can easily be changed and we can move people around easily. You think there's any possibility that I can get that through the town?
So you kind of want like the blueprint of the park, pretty much, is
Or-
what you're asking
Yeah,
for? The
but
dimensions?
not
Yeah,
as-
I'll ask to see.
Just
if-
looking for dimensions, really, accurate dimensions, so if I work, a blueprint would be fine, if they can pull that.
Okay.
But again, just in overall, I'm just looking for, this is this amount of footage, this is this amount of footage, this is that amount of
Okay.
footage, so we can go with
I
accurate.
think that's
drawing.
written on the sides, it's just not very clear.
That's what I
Yeah,
was going to
but-
say.
But I don't want to trust it, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
yeah.
Unless I go down and measure it myself,
Yeah.
I don't think it's not a verified document.
Yeah,
But if I can work from a verified document, then we can make it something that's easily reusable and more functional. If we can't, we can't, all right? But we'll use what we have.
I should be able to find the dimensions for you.
okay, John will work on nonprofit speakers, we'll know who's gonna say their thing. Sam, you've got water and ice. You and Ted will try and help us figure out what voters we want to have for our panel as you meet them and greet them. Ed, cooler, you're always on board with the cooler. Signage we need to work through, and I think I sent you a copy of what that A-frame sign thing looked like. Do you know where we got that? Or did Jennifer bring that with her?
Jennifer brought it.
The one that does the town have anything like that? Just, it's like this.
And it just holds a board or whatever, right?
Easel?
Like an
It was,
easel?
no, it's like an easel sign. It sat on the ground, and so it'd be something like you would see in front of a restaurant where they write the day's specials on
Those
it.
sandwich boards.
Yeah.
It's just a sandwich board.
They used to not be allowed on the beach
Oh,
when I used to work in.
okay,
So we'll have to check.
Okay.
and see if they have it.
okay. I mean, and if worst comes to worst, then an easel, and we have to have poster board or something, but I worry about that flying away because we tend to have wind. Yeah.
If anybody knows somebody at the coffee shop right across from Bayside, they have one, and they probably would let us put something and tape over it and use it if we returned it.
Okay. Curtis, do you have any updates from Abigail and Nora about anything related to communication? Everything going as planned?
Yes, I talked to Abigail this morning. Everything's going as planned. Their campaign process is moving along.
Okay. And then date of event assignments, I think we talked a little bit about this. Boater, VIP nonprofit registration, Sam and Ted and Tina. Public registration and drawing tickets, John and I. Nonprofit wrangling, basically everyone who's there. I'll liaise with BTR. We talked about last year having somebody stand at the dinghy dock for at least a period of time. Ed, would you be willing to do that for a little bit of time to greet boaters? And if, people aren't coming in droves, then we'll move you somewhere else?
Well, what I did last year is I helped people set up their booths because I brought my two-wheel cart and I
Yep.
was helping people set up and take down. But if you want me to move somewhere else, I can do that, whatever you'd like.
No, I mean, we'll get the booth set up, but, when the event starts at noon, we thought about, hey, will the boaters be able to understand where they're supposed to come? And so we talked about maybe having somebody down at the dinghy dock. So it's like at 12, from 12 to 1 or something.
Sure, I can do that.
Okay.
Whatever you'd like. I don't know if Janelle's planning on coming, but
Okay?
she's shaking her head yes, so.
Okay, all right, Janelle. All right, so Ed and Janelle. Excellent. Thank you, Janelle.
Yeah, she said to put her to work, so.
Okay.
We'll find her something easy, yeah.
We will do that. Okay, what didn't we talk about? What are you concerned about? I mean, we have some loose ends to tie up here, but I think we're getting there. Sam?
I hate to bring it up,
No,
but
please don't.
do we have a weather plan, or just everything would just go through Curtis, and Curtis would email me if there's weather issues? It is that time of the year
Yeah.
every once in a while, so I guess Curtis will just be our front guy on that. If there is a weather issue, he'll let us know what the update is.
Will do.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not a
I'm
problem.
not sure what else we do,
What can you do?
you know, unless we move inside Bay Oaks, but I'm not sure that's a good plan either.
No.
Yeah,
Voters can't get there.
yeah, well, no. Okay. All right, then. Go.
I do have a thought on that, though. If it ends up being small but still happening because of weather, we probably could get over to underneath Snug Harbor.
Yeah.
Because they won't have a lot of business, and they want our business still.
True. Okay. All right. Public comment. We have no public comment. Next meeting agenda. I am suggesting that we meet next Monday, if possible, just to wrap up things. I know that we have availability in this room anytime next Monday. So does that work for everybody except Tom, who won't be here?
Next Monday.
Is the 30th? Would you prefer this 9 to 11 timeframe? And I'm not sure it would take us that long. Want to do that? Okay, so let's say
Sounds
9 to 11, okay? And then our next regularly scheduled meeting is April 15th from 1 to 3. So that's moving from April 27th. Does that work with everybody?
Can I jump in for a second on
You
that
sure,
one, Chris?
you sure can.
And my calendar has a board cap meeting at noon at Town Hall that same day.
Oh, okay. On the 27th, or on which day, the 15th?
On the 15th.
Huh, all right.
So you might just want to check with the clerk's calendar and
Yeah.
make sure that we're good on that date.
Okay, because I had gotten it on the calendar but I will take another check. All right, so hang on April 15th, I'll figure that out. And then, as I mentioned, the joint meeting with Murph on the 13th from 10 to 12, and we'll just talk about the water ferry, water taxi guidelines.
I may not be available the 15th,
Okay,
just so you know.
okay.
What were the times for that on the 15th?
1 to 3.
1 to 3?
But let me double check
Yep.
because.
Will this come out in
Yes, we'll send something out. So I will reaffirm this. I'll update this, my sheet, and get stuff to Curtis and Patty to send out.
And we'll
quickly.
talk about the ferry water taxi stuff on our April meeting before
Yes,
the Murph.
Yes, exactly.
Murph joint meeting. Okay.
yep. So
Cool.
in the mid-April, we'll recap cruiser event, and we'll talk
Dive into
in
that.
prep for the water taxi, water ferry. Yeah,
Awesome.
okay. So I'll see you next Monday from 9 to 11. I'm going to figure out April 15th and then May 13th. All righty. I have nothing else. Does anybody have anything before we say sayonara?
I'm not available April 15th either.
Okay, all right. All day?
Yeah.
Okay, let me find another day then.
We're going to need John.
Yes. Okay.
So, yeah, April 15th. No, that's a Wednesday, right?
It is.
Yeah.
You're good any other time that week?
I think pretty much 14th, 16th, 17th. I could do 13th if it's a little bit later, like 11 a.m. going, or,
Okay,
so pretty versatile. You just pick the day.
All right.
I'm tied up.
okay. I'll check on things and let people know.
Now,
Let us know.
I will say if that's the only time it works for anyone else, I'll try to cancel what I got
Oh,
scheduled.
okay. We'll make it work.
Rather not if I can avoid it.
All right. Would anyone like to adjourn us?
I'll move to adjourn.
Way to go, Ed.
Second.
Okay, all right, second from Tom. All in favor? Aye. All right, we are adjourned at 10:24. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.